Hello there, it's Tim, Golf 5 Tango Mike. If you have a radio exam coming up shortly, we're going to look at how perhaps you can make that a bit less stressful. Hi there, thanks for joining me. If you're new to the channel, then thanks for coming along, and think about clicking that subscribe button and the notification bell for any future videos. And if you're returning, great to have you back again. Apologies for the noise, by the way. We're in a very windy situation here. It's about 40-mile-an-hour winds at the moment. I'm in the shed. I was going to put up my doublet today, but that wasn't going to happen. It's just too windy out there. So apologies for the background noise. So as is traditional on this channel, if you've watched a couple of my videos before, here we are in the Shed Shack. I've got some artwork behind me, and I'm going to let the artist, my daughter, tell you all about it.
Okay, we have Jello the jellyfish here, and Mr. Fisher the fish here, and it's a 2-for-1 special.
2-for-1 special, marvellous. Let's move on. So a few months ago, back in March I think it was, just as lockdown started in the UK, I put a video out about how to go about revising for your exams if you have an exam coming up. And of course a lot of people in the UK have taken up the opportunity, because of the online exams, to do their foundation and indeed their intermediate licence too, so that's brilliant. Now, if you've got an exam coming up shortly and you've done some of the revision and you're ready for it, and you've got your exam coming up in the next few days or next week or two, then let's look at how you can actually prepare and tackle the exam itself. As in my previous video concerning revision, it's all about taking control. So it's not letting the occasion of the exam carry you away with it. It's by you exercising control over the situation. And there are 1 or 2 strategies you can adopt which will hopefully allow you to exercise some control and allow you to feel a bit less stressful about the exam itself. So I'm going to refer to my full licence exam I did back in August of last year, nearly a year ago now actually. Now in that exam we had 62 questions. I needed to get 37 out of 62 to pass, which is basically 60%. Now, as you may have heard me say before, my weak area was electronics, okay, and I knew that was about 20% of the syllabus. What I also became familiar with, as I've said in the previous video on revision, is the order in which each section or each topic would come up in the exam, because it's pretty well set, and also how many questions each topic has. Now when you get into the exam room, you've done all your revision, you've done your mock exam questions, you've done as much as you can. So you go into that hall, or of course at the moment you go onto onto your computer at home, and you log in and you get ready to do the exam. Now I find the best way to tackle any exam, and the thing I tell my students not to do, because I teach as well for a living, but not radio stuff, I teach a different subject, but what I tell my students to do in terms of exams is to make sure that you take control of it. And what that means is by reading all the questions first and then deciding which ones you want to tackle in which order, but only after you check all of the questions on the paper. So you've logged in, you've got your questions up, and off you go. Now, if you, in the old-fashioned situation, previous situation when you had paper-based exams, you'd have a question paper, and then you'd have an answer paper where you just shaded in if it was A, B, C or D for each question. So what I did for my 62 questions is read through them all. I put a little tick with a pencil next to a question I knew the answer for, and maybe a little line next to which one it was. So in other words, if I knew it was C for question 3, put a little tick by the number 3, a little line by the C. So I knew that was in the bag. I'm happy with that. If I came to a question where I thought it was one of 2 answers, I might put a question mark or a little dot next to the number. It could be number 6, for example. So question 6, it's either A or C. So I put a little dot next to the number 6 and a little line next to A, a little line next to C. And if I wasn't aware, I wasn't really understanding what the answer was for any question, I just left it blank, and I will come back to those at the very end. So having read the 62 questions, I would then first of all start answering the ones I knew the answers for. Still took my time to check I knew them, but for example, if I knew what the answer was to question 1, I go back to question 1, I see I put a line against D as my answer, check it, yeah, I still think that's D, I shade in D, off we go. And you first of all just tackle all the ones you definitely know the answers for. Then you go to the ones where you think you know the answers to, where you've got maybe a couple to choose from for each question, and try to think those through. And finally, you go to the ones which you don't know. And then you go back again and again until you filter down to the ones where you might need to just do an educated guess. Or in my case, sometimes an uneducated guess. But you'll probably find that by the time you get to that point, you'll have answered a hell of a lot of questions. And that should then start to give you the confidence as the exam moves on that you know even more than you probably thought you did. The scenario I'm describing there is based on the old-fashioned, as we call it, the pre-lockdown exams where you had paper in front of you. Now with the new exams, of course online, the online exams, what you should be able to do is do something similar on a scrap piece of paper. Alright, so if you, for example, for your foundation you've got 26 questions, I think still. I think you need 19 to pass, 20 to pass. So again, if you know the answers to certain questions, maybe do a little column on your page with a tick on the top of it saying I know question 1, 4, 6, 7, 8. List them, and then do something similar for a middle column by saying I'm not sure about question 2, 9, whatever. Then the final one, obviously you come to the ones at the end you're not sure about, or maybe you don't know anything about. So I would just do it in that way. Tackle the questions you really know the answers to, then go to the ones that you're not sure about, and then go to the ones where frankly you may have to do a flying guess. And if you come to the point where, for example, on my full exam where I needed 37 out of 62, if you, for example, you know the answers to maybe 28 or 30, or even 25, and then you've got another 15 or 20 where you've probably 50-50 on them. So say, for example, you get 10 out of 20, and maybe you get 22 out of 25, then that's 32 out of 45. I need 5 more out of the 17 I haven't really got much clue about to pass. So you've got a great chance, okay, of passing. And it's the same sort of approach for all levels and all exams. Do the ones you know first, the ones you sort of know, do them next, and the ones you're not sure about, tackle those last. In other words, you've got to read through the whole paper first before you tackle any of the questions. So there you go. Instead of the exam running away with you, you control the exam and you have a strategy for it. And having a strategy means you're in control. And that's the key thing. So having a strategy for your revision and strategy for the exam itself means you've got, I think, got a much better chance of staying in control of your own emotions, being more confident about it, and ultimately getting those extra few marks that might mean a difference between you passing or not passing. Okay, hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to click even, subscribe, and that notification bell too. This is Tim G5TM wishing you 73, and good luck. Bye bye.